Okay, this is an interview with Mrs. Rita Parks at her home in Murrieta, California. Today is March 7th, 2008, and I'm Joyce Hanson. This is for the Murietta Oral History Project. Good morning, Mrs. Park.
Good morning.
So, you've been here in Murietta for how long?
We came in 1964.
May of 1964.
Okay, that's a long time. What was Murietta like back then when you got here?
Well, we had horse ranches all around us, and we had 2 dogs, and when they started going after the horses, then I got rid of the father and the son. And they were Irish setters.
Oh, beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was wide open and...
Yeah, we had rarely any stop signs.
We didn't
have any signals. And we had, let me think.
What's that? What are you trying to think of? I'll help you.
Just take your time, it's fine.
Thinking.
Just think.
Dad used to sometimes hunt in the foothills up here for...
Hunt for what?
Venison.
Oh, deer.
It was legal and everything. We used to hunt for venison for the freezer. And the elementary school here in downtown was K through 8. And it was 4 rooms, 3 grades to a room or so. And the school bell that was in front would ring every morning at 8 o'clock. You know, it was always a privilege to be able to ring the bell. And the fire department was volunteer. And you just go ring the bell. And we had a windmill next to the well house out here, so we could always climb up it and see, Smith's Ranch is on fire, there's a fire out at Pasco's, looks like, like that. But Washington was all horse ranches. It was beautiful. And it was just pretty much wide open country. And you walked wherever you had to walk. We had to go out of town for almost everything.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. So,
Mom,
when you had to shop, where did you go?
Yeah.
For grocery shopping, we would go, if it was something quick, we would go to the only closest supermarket was Stater Brothers in Elsinore. But since we were in the service, we went to March Air Force Base for most of our big loads.
Yeah, cigarettes and things like that.
For Daddy,
Yeah, that's a trek up to March Air Force Base.
Yeah, now
it is now. It used to be no big deal.
Oh, really?
Pile in the car and go.
Yeah. We used to make it in 25 minutes.
And we used to go to Sears in Riverside or somewhere, a lot of times Sears for clothes, for school and things. Went to high school in Elsinore because it was the only one there was.
They were the only high school.
Yeah, I read that before development happened, before there was a high school here, everybody just bussed into Elsinore. It's amazing.
And the Greyhound bus came through town once a week, stopped at Ray's Cafe, and that was the only public transportation. It was just the one bus once a week.
So there was no local bus service anywhere. So if you didn't have a car...
Or taxi or anything.
No. So if you didn't have a car, you were pretty much stuck.
Well, you could ride horses.
That's true.
Well, we used to do a lot of horseback riding.
Yeah.
We're at the Marietta Hot Springs.
The Hot Springs, across the street, across Marietta Hot Springs Road from the actual hot springs themselves, was stables. And you used to let out horses to ride and things. So, people that would come like to the hot springs as visitors or whatever would go over there around horses and stuff. But we were friends, of course, with everybody because there wasn't that many people to be friends with. And we used to go up there and hang out and, go horseback riding and stuff. And then all our friends had horses and things. Of course, we couldn't have them because there was 8 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were busy.
4 girls and 4 boys. So, we couldn't have horses. I mean, we had to feed and clothe and
people.
house people.
And we didn't have a Catholic church.
We had to go to Temecula
Oh.
to go to Catholic church, and they bused us. It was, our schedules for the kids was school, catechism, church. And it took all day Saturday to get on the bus in Temecula to be bused out to Paula Mission for our catechism lessons, and then be bused back home.
Wow, that's very different.
Yeah.
When did the first Catholic church come into Murrieta then? If you had to go to
Well,
Temecula?
we met at the community center, which was the town hall
Uh-huh.
for years. And we met there for a year, and then they started St. Martha's
Okay.
out on Whitewood.
Now it's on Whitewood, correct?
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of changes. there.
Oh, too many.
Too many?
You don't know. Oh, it's just been unbelievable.
Okay. When the city they decided to incorporate, right? Did you support that incorporation? Did you?
In 91, we didn't want to go to Temecula.
Okay. So Temecula was going to bring you into the city.
Yeah, they were going to try to incorporate, so we just we were for, or annex or whatever they do, but we were for cityhood.
Okay.
We were behind cityhood and you know, owning up to our own and promoting our own and you know, funding our own and keep
So
it in the city.
what were your expectations that what would happen when cityhood happened?
Well, we didn't know
Okay.
because we hadn't been a city.
Uh-huh.
And now it's impossible
to
to do anything
Mm-hmm.
without the city's okay. Like we want to tear down the other house.
Mhm.
We know who built it,
Mm-hmm.
Don't
and
put it on
built it as a
record.
guest
Don't
house.
put it on record.
It's okay. Well, you can delete anything you don't want on here.
And they won't give us permission because they said it's historical.
Yeah, we're running into the historical
Sometimes
Yeah.
hysterical.
I agree.
society
Hysterical.
problems because of
Yes.
the situation, how long we've been here, and,
Mhm.
and the fact that my great aunt lived here, Nora Cotter,
Uh-huh.
lived here prior, so that was, I mean,
Okay.
it's been here a while.
Yeah.
And before we became a city in 91, the children remodeled this place.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have my bedroom and my bath and the laundry room, and the kitchen is all equipped with a dishwasher.
To give
and
you
everything.
an idea of what she was facing with a husband and 8 kids, we had one bathroom that had only a bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
That was in this house. She cooked in the back house, but she had to bring the dishes to the front house to wash them and then back to the back house to put them away and prepare meals.
Mhm.
The washer was in the well house that you see outside the door. The
Uh-huh.
dryer was in the garage behind the other house.
So I did my walking.
I bet.
She did, and you know, a clothesline was a very thing. We still use a clothesline today.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I remember my growing up. We always had a clothesline.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
would have never done it without it,
yeah,
even with a dryer.
yeah. And I grew up in the Northeast, so it was cold in the winter, but we still put clothes out on the line because we just didn't have those dryers. Or
Right.
anything.
Where are you
Right.
from?
I'm from. I was born in Pennsylvania, and lived part of my life in Pennsylvania, then northern New Jersey, and then Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's where she's from.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
We're from Connecticut.
New Canaan.
Oh, okay. We lived in Bristol, near Hartford, right
Mhm.
outside Hartford. Yep.
Bristol is.
My daughter lives in Norwalk.
Oh, Norwalk.
So-
That's where my brother
That's
lived.
where her only remaining living brother lives.
Yeah, my daughter is still there.
I used to go back every year,
Mhm.
but then, well, financially, I
Right.
couldn't afford it.
Right.
And now I don't go traveling anymore.
It's too difficult.
My brother came out last year, and he'll be coming out this year. I hope.
Yeah. So
for
what
Yellow News.
what brought you here to Murietta in 1964?
Well, the aunt left us the house.
Well, see,
3 lots.
when we planned the trip
Uh-huh.
from Japan, then we went into the East Coast, and from there we drove across the United States.
Uh-huh.
We were going to come and show her. She'd never been out of Murrieta. So we were going to show my Nora Cotter, the zoo at San Diego and,
Right.
Whatever was here.
Mm-hmm.
But she was cleaning walls, getting ready for us to come, and fell and had a stroke. So she passed away before we got here. She left the property to Mom and Dad.
Okay.
So this was just going to be a pit stop, according to my father.
Okay.
Because he wanted to be
It's a long pit stop.
He wanted to be in Spokane, Washington, and have a bunch of acres where you could hunt and fish, and that was his dream.
Okay.
But we got here, and here we were.
Yeah.
Here we've been for the duration.
He was going to leave every year, but he never left.
Yeah.
He died in 75.
Oh. So this small area is considered historic downtown where you
Yeah.
are,
Right.
and it's a very small area from what I can see.
Right.
But all of this new development. So cityhood didn't turn out to be exactly what you expected, did it?
No, not with the development.
Uh-huh.
And the funeral home is next door, the Murietta Funeral Home, and it's taken over by Peter
Hamilton.
He's a real nice guy. And the city wants him to build a big stone fence or concrete, and I'm against that.
Just to
because
separate our properties, because we're dealing with residential and commercial.
And they'll take down the fence we put up years ago, and they'll take down his trees.
Mm. So they want it to look more commercial.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like a funeral home.
No, it doesn't. And the year before we got here, it was a church that burnt down.
Mm.
And we've seen the succession of things.
Right.
From families originally. The Amaviskas lived there, and they had 7 kids.
Mm.
So we had playmates all the time.
Yeah.
Mom had a good friend. How it was. But back then it was so small. She joined the garden club, 34 years ago?
Yeah.
Because
We have the anniversary Tuesday.
initially it kind of
34
started out
years.
as a coffee klatch,
Oh, okay.
and it was the only time to get together.
Right.
So she's one of the remaining lifelong members. There's only 3 left.
Yeah. Me and Arlene Garrison and
Alice Vose.
Alice Vose.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be talking to Mrs. Vose at the end of the month.
Good.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
I talked to Lucy Dunham when they had the Veterans Day
Yeah,
parade.
she passed away
Yeah.
before I got a chance to come
Yeah.
and talk to her.
Yeah.
That was too bad.
Well,
We talked about
the Keene family has been
Somebody.
here really long too.
Yeah, we've talked to the Canes,
Okay.
and we're going to be talking to is it the Jennings?
Mm-hmm.
She's Mrs. Vose's daughter.
Mm.
Annette. Yeah, we're going to be talking to all of them at the end of the month. So we're trying to
good.
gather as much of the
Information.
memories that as we
Well,
can.
I had the 3 books and I put my name in them.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm sure she has access to those, Mom.
Well, I
Oh, no, that's
don't
fine.
know if she has.
Let's see. I do have these 2, but I don't have this one.
Oh, you don't?
No, I didn't.
That
have
was the
this
first
one.
book out
About
by Arlene
Murietta itself.
Garrison. And that's the flood.
Or
I
was
mean,
that
the
the
snow.
first year of snow. That was the
Oh.
only snow we've had since we've been here. That was
When
in
was this?
Years ago.
67. It was in 67.
1967.
December of 67. That's the only snow we've had
Wow.
that left anything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
I
see it did leave.
Took Shane out. I held him and showed him the snow on the back porch. That was before you became a photographer.
Oh.
Yeah, you can take that book with you and read it.
But just like even an example, speaking of memories, what we were going through when, way back when the town was trying to support the school, you know, the PTA would attempt to do diamond dip. PTC.
Teachers
Club.
Oh, okay.
Diamond dips, cakewalks, theater productions, whatever they could to try to get funds together to buy supplies for the school. And they would put on productions, Flapper Girls and Me and My Shadow and different little things on stage. Satchel Valley ran a lot of them.
So these are all well, the community could come together then at all these things.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes, that's how we
Kern,
That's how we
she
used to do.
passed away.
yes.
And Dottie Renan, she was my best friend. She was a political activist, and we talked.
She
on
was
the phone
the main engine for Friends Library, the public library, all of that. That was her brain and her bailiwick. And she pushed to get first the bookmobile would come through once a week or whatever we could get it to do, and that was our library that we would visit. But she was the main
She
fixture.
was a terrific person, but she passed away in '98.
Yeah.
And so did my neighbor,
Marion Rail.
Marion Rail.
Mary and Ira were like grandparents to us. That was one of Mom's really close friends. It used to be so fun because he used to build us little carts and carriages and things. So us kids would have, and wheels. So we could play and everything. It was so much fun. I still have a 3-prong tiller of his. It's a hand-push tiller that has a wheel on it and just 3 prongs for tilling rows.
Oh.
He was very good at farming.
I have several things of Marion's in the garage that she gave me before she went.
So did you grow a lot of your own food since you had so much open
We
space?
had a vegetable garden always.
First.
Yeah.
But my husband was a perfectionist, and we had to put hours into tilling and doing and cutting.
Weeding, and the weeding, and
And
the
the
weeding.
Seems the weeds grow best.
It was lucky though, because there were so many of us. I mean, all of us. You couldn't have asked for more than have a big family, And my mom has been just.
Well, I don't
Wow.
cook anymore.
She's been strong. She cooks a little, just not real elaborate.
Did you do a lot of your own I would imagine you'd have to do canning. And
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
I had friends that.
Marion did a lot of it though.
Oh, okay.
And she used to give us, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than
applesauce
daddy
and-
hunting for the venison,
Uh-huh.
and there used to be a butcher up on the corner of Hazen and Deleuze that we used to buy half a beef at a time, and we had a big freezer
And a
stocked
pork.
full.
And
a
I
pork.
mean, what Daddy said he didn't like it.
What's that?
What's it? Pig.
Pork?
Yeah, pork. My husband changed his mind, and so we didn't buy pork anymore. We had a freezer in the garage, a big one. You have to understand him. He was a good guy, but he was a perfectionist.
He was a military man,
Well,
and he was very militant. And I can remember, I mean, our little, we all used to wear white little sneakers, and they always had to be clean. For
there's a challenge.
appearance. I know. You would see the sizes from the littlest to a little larger on top of the dryer. And Mom was always washing our sneakers. We always had to look right. No holes in the clothes. He'd see that and tear them.
Well, that would work now.
But we used to, with the clothes, we used to cut them, take off the buttons and keep them, and cut them into squares for the rag bag. So, everything went there was
Right, there's a use for everything.
I mean, you used to be able to incinerate.
But what I don't understand about this book is why she never mentioned the garden club.
Yeah, it's not in here. Yeah, I've read this
No.
book, and it's not in here.
No, it is.
She's more interested in more of the building. Well, she does have organizations and activities, but you're right, it's not there.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I used to go over to see Marion
Uh-huh.
and check on her.
Marion Rail.
And
yeah.
she would talk to me.
Mhm.
And I didn't know she was writing a book.
Oh.
Oh, Mary Alice.
Mary
Royce.
Alice.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did your garden club do? Tell me about it.
Well, the garden club is, we have a pioneer luncheon every Thanksgiving, and we usually check the dates and make sure nothing's happening. And we used to invite all the pioneers. Of course, many of them have gone,
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah.
I assume they went to heaven.
But the garden club was really initially just a small group of women that used to get together, and if gardening came up, great.
So,
Yeah.
More of a social club
Yeah,
than really
yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
garden
Oh,
club.
yeah.
We
Mom
used
was
to-
always active in all that stuff. Go ahead, Mom. You used to.
We used to, I saw it in the newspaper, and I was impressed. They started a garden club. And when I went to the meeting, the thing that impressed me mostly was the silver tea set they had. And I tell them every year about the tea set, and they look at me like some kind of a foreigner.
Because they don't remember. Mom and you do.
But Arlene Garrison didn't founder the garden club. A gal did that left the Murietta 3 months later. She got a divorce.
Yeah. They have in the record set. Arlene founded it, but Mom just wanted to set the record straight.
Yeah.
That
No,
isn't
that's-
100% accurate.
Yes.
You know.
But I don't dare say anything at the meeting.
Of course
I'm
not,
very
Mom.
quiet.
So all of this was just open fields. Were there a lot of people that came to the hot springs though? Was the hot springs
Yes,
actually?
that was hot. The hot place. That was the place of employment, and that was the place. It was a very busy place. It was a very busy place because
And they had people from LA and movie stars and.
Yeah.
But not when I went. I went to Glen Ivy for 12 years, and then I went there. I got a job, and I couldn't go often, but I went 13 years to the Marietta Hot Springs, and then the church took over the Calvary.
Yeah, when the Gunthers owned it back when, it was just so quaint. And just I guess.
And we had the hot pool, and the swimming pool, and the exercise pool, and we played volleyball.
The mineral water and everything. That's what a lot of the outsiders came for, was the mineral water and things like that. But it was very active. They used to play cards, and they put in a little disco for the younger crowd. And we used to just hang out there and have, chocolate Cokes and hot fudge sundaes and, just hang out and just watch these people that were coming in from everywhere, you know. It was quite interesting. There was quite a few characters. And it was, the rooms were individual, and there was little cottages, and it was a real memory, that was.
So that was the attraction for outsiders from Marietta.
For outsiders.
And they had the Millionaire Club,
Oh, really?
and I babysat for a gal that had a little boy, I think it was, or a girl. And she sent me flowers the next day, and when she paid me.
Very
And
nice.
I didn't understand the Millionaires Club, but they got together and they figured out where their money should go.
It was
And that
more
was
investments
interesting.
and things.
Oh, okay. I had never heard about that one before.
The Millionaires
The
Club,
Millionaires
we used
Club.
to meet there.
Yeah. That was when the initial owners were there. That's when it was just awesome.
Yeah, and they had a lot of lots for sale, and they were cheap.
Up in the mobile home park, you
Inexpensive.
mean? Up in the mobile home park, you mean?
No,
Or down
down below.
in the hot springs itself?
Yeah. They sold the lots, and I worked for a doctor, babysat.
I used to babysit there myself.
So
That was all there was to do here.
So you-
Babysit.
So you had 8 children of your own, and you still babysat.
Mhm.
You were an amazing woman.
She is just the best mother.
Oh.
Just amazing mother. Just.
I can't imagine how busy you must have been with all those
She was
children.
the
I
first.
don't believe that I was that busy.
And then besides just her family, she was active in anything that was going on. The town hall, the PTC, sports, whatever it was. She was gardening.
And I always wanted a wall of pictures, which I have.
Yeah, we're here now.
And she's responsible for hanging the pictures. And she hung up many things that I would not think of
Well,
for me.
up you. You
Yeah.
stash away all your certificates and plaques and honors and everything, but I try to bring them out because that's just who she is. She's just a wonderful person.
Well, I can't think of the Idlewild.
You don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
I do. Okay, that's all right.
You do remember?
You used to take somebody up there to camp, Mom.
Yeah, but community, I have to show it to you.
So, let's think.
I found it in the cookbook.
Stashed
When
away.
we got here, the school down the street was still. The school down here at 2nd and A was still there. It wasn't operating, but it was still full.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well, apparently you did a you did so many things you don't remember everything you did.
No, that's true.
Community leadership training. Look at that.
1969, April the 18th. That was when I was hitched.
Hitched? Oh, before
Yeah.
Daddy died?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, Mom.
Now I have to use a cane, which bothers me no end.
Well, it shouldn't.
I fell.
But look, you're still living on your own. You have a beautiful home, and you have so many things that you've accomplished. Cane should be the least of your problems.
Well, I was
Don't even think
reading
about it.
about the senior center, and finally we got the Murrieta Senior Center.
Right.
So I quit the other senior center.
She was working at the Senior Center Food Bank
Oh,
for
okay.
21 years in Temecula, volunteering Monday through Friday.
Well, you helped me.
Oh, I know, I volunteered a lot too, but I'd like to talk about you.
So now you're up here at the Murietta Seniors. They have the new senior center up here. It's close to you.
Yeah, they have Recognition Day, but that's the day we have the for the volunteers, and that's the day we have the meeting of the garden club. And so I canceled out. I said I would go, and then Lorraine, the president, talked to me, and she said, well, Rita, we need you there. I said, okay, I'll cancel. Because it's only been in operation for 2 years, the Murrieta Seniors.
Yeah.
I met a lot of nice people there, though.
Before we became a city incorporation, the town once named an honorary mayor.
You were honorary mayor?
10 years.
She got a
And I wasn't invited to anything.
She says that every time somebody asks her about it. You were honorary mayor? Yes, and I wasn't invited to anything. This Warney, when he was mayor, his office and myself worked up some of the things it was reminding me of the past.
Whereas.
That's what a proclamation is, a whole bunch of
The
whereases.
PTC and town hall. Used to have a lot of meetings in the little town hall.
And you were the one and only person ever the honorary mayor?
Yes.
That's quite an honor. And a volunteer of the year?
More than one place. But she was recognized by the city of Riverside.
The Jcpenney Golden Rule Award?
Right.
What was that?
That was
Statue.
That was out of all of Riverside County. They selected 7 people that are volunteers that they felt, you would send in the paperwork, which I did, and they felt you had gone above and beyond. And so there was a formal dinner and plaques and statues and cups and keychains.
And a service award at the city's inauguration.
I sat with the Miss Murietta and I don't know who else.
Yeah, we didn't used to have any of that stuff. Yeah, that was in '96, the Jcpenney Golden Rule Award.
Oh,
It was a big to-do in Riverside by Riverside County.
Absolutely. 1 of 7 people in the
Yeah,
entire
there was
county.
only
That's
7, so I thought that was pretty good.
Wow.
Just to get
Yeah.
in.
She hung up.
That's me, Mom.
Busy, busy, busy. So
the-
tell me about what kind of volunteer work do you do at the senior center?
Well, I'm at the front desk,
Oh, okay.
and I have everybody sign in, and that's all I
You
can
answer
do
the
right
phones
now.
and things, right?
Oh, I answer the phone too.
Okay.
And give out information, show
What-
people around the
What
place.
I don't know, I refer them to the office.
Very good.
Transfer.
Yes.
Call.
Learning
There's
transfer
a lot
calls.
of things I don't know.
Well, but being here so long, she's pretty informative. And she gets calls at home all the time asking her questions. And I think, oh boy. Sometimes you wonder where they come up with some of the stuff, but that's okay. She enjoys it.
But I've lost a lot of good friends,
Mm-hmm.
and that bothers me. Betty Jean gave me that pillow, and I used to collect frogs, and I got too many. And I used to collect birds, but the little birds will only eat the second floor. That's what I call that.
Oh, okay.
So when it gets to the first floor, she asks me to fill it up, or she fills it up.
Yeah.
Because birds want it on the second floor.
I understand. We do the same thing.
Oh, do you?
Oh, we have goldfinch feeders. We feed little goldfinches.
Neat, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the birds are that come here.
Mm.
I got binoculars from my oldest son, a book on the birds, but it doesn't tell me anything about the birds.
Oh.
The locals,
Yeah.
it's more into all parts of the country.
So, what else do you want to know?
So, I would say, what else did you do? But boy, oh no, there's so much that you've done.
Well, I've been busy.
Yes, you have been busy.
Up
And
until
you've seen the city grow and change.
Yep, 100,000 people now. And there were about 800 when we
I think there
came.
were 82
Wow.
or something. Yeah. Our 10 getting here was, and the first morning we got here, the house was pretty overgrown and things.
Mm-hmm.
So we had breakfast at Ray's Cafe, and that's when the Bonanzas were alive, Ray and Joanne. And it was burnt pancakes and
Hot coffee
hot coffee.
and cracked mugs.
It was funny because it was, you know, we were kind of used to a little more citized things, and we got here and, you know, it was this little podunk restaurant, and but you know, we got post office box right away because they didn't have rural delivery. P.O. Box 3. We should have kept it, but it was just so small then.
Yeah.
You know,
But now they look at my taxes and I get all this mail and box 3. I
I've had
shred
it
it.
for what, 15 years probably.
Mm,
Got rid of
about.
it when they started rural delivery. Yeah. I think back then.
So,
I don't know what to do.
after the city incorporated and they changed, what did you think about all those changes?
I didn't like them at first, but I like the mayor now, Gibbs.
Yeah, I met him yesterday.
He's Air Force.
That's why you like him. He's military. Reminds you of your husband, doesn't it?
We're just go Air Force.
Yeah.
We were raised that way. It was beat into us. Go Air Force.
So now things are okay, even though it's developed and
No.
no.
The traffic is unbelievable. And you mentioned the traffic.
Yes.
Where do you hang out?
I live in San Bernardino.
Oh,
So coming here is not bad. It's going home. That's the issue for me. And what about when the city was, those first few years when Murietta became a city?
well,
What kind
I
of
was.
changes did you see? What did you think about as things were changing? What did it look like to you?
Well,
it was more.
The house is unbelievable. But of course, my son in Crestline was in the housing development, construction, and my son in where does Ed live?
It lives in Santa Ana now.
Well, Irvine. He decided to go in business for himself, and he makes gobs of money.
The initial city getting together was, it was, looked like a great approach to some organization, you know, and to get some public funding and some things, instead of all the townspeople trying to support the town. You know, it was more like, okay, maybe we don't have to do a barn raising, you know, whatever. But initially it was fine and getting organized, you know, and then the people started thinking this was a great place to be, and more rules and restrictions kicked in and everything, and then it imploded, exploded, and it just, especially as you get older, I'd imagine it's very confusing.
It is.
It's confusing to me. Yeah, Al was, he was telling me that some of the people who lived here prior to incorporation were really upset by the way things started to proceed, especially when all the development just kind of boomed. That it really upset everyone's way of life.
It did. It did. Because it, you know, Mom just kept saying, well, that's progress, honey, you know. Mom, I almost ran a stop sign. I didn't even know it was there. They put stop signs in Old Town Murietta. That's progress, honey. But now she just looks around and just goes, whoa, you know.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, just coming down Washington and turning this way, off of Washington, where all that development on that side.
Yeah.
All those restaurants and all those stores and everything.
And I haven't been in them.
I don't blame you.
I've been in the mill
Uh-huh.
a few times, but I haven't
She
been.
totally supports Murietta business. If it can be done or found in Murietta, she's a Murietta woman all the way.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's much easier than what it used to be.
Kohl's and
Yeah.
Petco. I lost my dog a year ago,
Mm.
and I had him 14 years. And he was a good dog, good watchdog.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that. The coyotes got him.
Oh,
Yeah.
awful. That's really bad.
But I didn't believe the coyotes took him. I thought it was a dog napper.
Mm.
And this guy from Oceanside told me he lost a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the coyotes got him. Because the coyotes were on the main drag.
Mm-hmm.
And I let him out 5 o'clock in the morning because I go to bed early.
Mm-hmm.
And he let out a yelp. And I called him in. He didn't come. And it was pitch dark outside.
Yeah.
And I turned on the porch light. No dog. And then Maureen and her friend Joe, really her husband, went looking for the dog. Hairs or blood or anything. Mm-mm. They just picked him up. He was a little pooch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dangerous. A friend of mine has little dogs, and the coyotes come in her yard. She has to be real careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You tell her that I lost a dog to the coyotes.
yeah.
And he weighed about 12 pounds.
Mm.
Or
Yeah.
12 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting old.
Yeah.
I'm going to collect all those pictures.
I was just putting them together so we can lander at them, glance at them. Think of what else was going on when we got here, Mom. Wasn't a whole lot.
No,
There
there was
was 8 kids in my 8th grade graduation.
Did your tax base change after cityhood? Did it become more expensive for you to be here, or did
Yeah,
that
a little.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was part of services and whatnot
Right.
for the city. So
Right, right. And, you know, that's like the street sweeper. He comes through here and kicks up dust. And, I mean, we pick up our own litter, and we don't have any curbs or gutters or any kind of thing he can clean, so he just kicks up dust and
But
goes on
now
his way.
we have to put in a new leach line, because who knows when the water...
Well, yeah, that's another story. They're coming down this road with septic.
okay.
It's just not here yet.
Uh-huh.
So,
So all of those
I mean, with,
services are
yeah, he's
coming through. Yeah.
septic.
Yeah.
So we have to do the leach line,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be expensive.
Mm-hmm. What about before the city came in? I mean, what did you do about trash services and things
Well,
like
I was
that?
going to tell you that it was legal to incinerate your garbage.
Oh.
And we took it to the dump.
If it was big, bulky, whatever, or wasn't burnable, like the papers and things, which is almost a lot of recycled stuff, basically. We took it to there was a dump in Elsinore, and we took it there. Dad had a box trailer, and he had a Jeep, old Willie's Jeep, and we had a box trailer that we'd fill, and then make a run when it got full. But,
So there's a trade-off,
Yeah.
you know, between being a city and not being a city. Is that here you have services, but you're paying for them.
right.
Then
right.
you didn't have the services, and you had to do more for yourself.
Which we didn't mind.
Right. Well, there's a sense of independence there.
Yeah. Well, plus,
And
you know,
control.
if you don't have the money, most people that are raised in the olden days work hard.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to spending that money.
Right.
So spending the money for a service is like almost going against the grain when there's no choice.
Right. Yeah.
So. But the garage out here was built after we got here and it was like a barn raising. Bunch of my dad's friends got together and came over and built that 4-car garage for him because he was going to open his own business. And their names
that lasted 6 months.
Their names are in the concrete out there, you know.
And they're all gone.
Yep.
All passed away.
Is Madison gone too? Probably. Okay. Wasn't sure about that. And the only fences we needed anywhere was Sam Barnes, who lived where Jack Van Haster now has an office. He had horses, and he had to put a barbed wire. We had to put a barbed wire. It was more to keep animals out or in than anything else. But other than that, you didn't need fences. I mean, that was, you know, way back when. Yeah. They didn't have paved streets and things like that either. Yeah. You know, and no flood control at all. I mean, we've got pictures of, I took out of the window of stop sign, mailbox floating by.
When was that flood?
The bad one was in...
It was in the early 70s, I think. Because I went to Elsinore, and June and I took pictures, and I took pictures of houses floating in the lake and all kinds of stuff. Can you find the flood pictures that were there? It'll take me a minute.
Oh, take your time.
92.
That's one.
That was one of them. That road was just a river. That was in 92. That's what it says. I'm not sure that's right. I have pictures for days. I have just of everything. So let's just find them all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do it right now because this is just a big mess.
So were people prepared when did you know that it was going to be raining that hard and this was coming through? Oh, you didn't?
We didn't
Our
expect
neighbor
it at all.
came looking for her dog, and I said, well, we'll go down the street, and we couldn't go any further on B Street.
It used to just come, before Warney worked on getting that channel that at least put it down towards Calmia, so it would head for the riverbed. It used to just come through this way through town.
Yeah, and the garage got hit.
So the garage would get, you'd have mud, this stuff, garage, back house, you name it, after every flood.
And Shane used to live in the mobile.
That's my little brother.
And he said, Mom, I can't get out. And it was early in the morning. I said, how come? He said, the water, it's up to the door.
Yeah, we had to sandbag the doors.
I wasn't aware there was a flood down here that late.
Yeah, it was.
And then when we became a city, and
once things started moving for improving things here, instead of just building, because what they did is they built a bunch of houses on the east side, and there was no thought to drainage when it was all concrete and blacktop and everything, and it all ran this way toward the riverbed.
Water seeks its natural path,
Yeah, we used to get some doozies. Yeah, floods.
What did you think of the mayors that you have? You've had a few.
Well, I didn't like, what's his name at all, McAllister.
Okay.
McAllister?
Yeah.
Yeah, McAllister was a Tex McAllister.
He was a mayor.
Yeah, I like McAllister, okay. You didn't like Kelly Ciardo.
Kelly Ciardo I didn't like at all.
Why not?
He was too
vocal.
Argumentative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, too vocal.
But I like Gibbs and I like Warney.
Okay. What about Van Haster?
Well, he's my neighbor.
He's your
so
neighbor.
Don't say anything bad about
him. He's the neighbor.
I
you
didn't
think
join the recall.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you about that.
No.
Everybody came to me and said, "We need your signature,
Mom
Rita."
said I can't. He's my neighbor.
Yeah.
Because that's how we've
Okay.
always been. You
Yeah.
treat your neighbors right and you stay on your own side of the fence. That's how we were raised.
So, do you think that maybe some of that stuff was trumped up, or do you think
On
that
the charges?
Yeah.
I think that in the political field, stuff comes up all the time.
Okay.
And who knows what's really the situation. I mean, you can take any situation and make it out to be
Right.
nasty.
You know, I don't live.
And you can be in the political arena and use it for all you can.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I don't live here and I don't have any connections or anything, but I read about it, and I kept thinking, what's the big deal? You know, I couldn't see
Well,
the.
Warnie got several things against him.
that's not city related, Mom.
Yeah,
It's all personal. That's not city related, like Van Haster. Van Haster's.
but it's nothing in the paper about it.
Well,
I get the Californian and the Press Enterprise.
Mm.
And I read both
Yeah.
faithfully.
Yeah. I was
After I
wondering what.
read my Upper Room and Daily Word.
Yeah.
you were wondering?
No, I was just wondering what citizens thought about that. I mean, and now you blow up things politically all the time, but people who live here, what did you think of it? Because
Well,
I couldn't see the big deal about it.
We
No,
were
I
happy
couldn't
with
either.
Jack for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't know the underpinnings
Right.
of what the political arena is doing, but we, you know, if the face front is good and the results are good, then why go digging? You know, so we didn't get real involved with that because it was just it's just who knows.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I was
who knows?
just curious.
And if
because-
it is, then so it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me that others haven't done the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting. Last week there was an article in the paper about it again, and apparently his daughter's gone back, and now everything seems to have blown over.
Yeah.
That everything's okay.
Well,
Or
it
the other
had to
people
be. That's
didn't.
what the judge said.
Yeah, and
you
it
guys
just
can't just do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah. So
the
it
reason's
just seemed
just
to me it maybe was politically motivated rather than being.
Well, I got out of the recall because I said he's my neighbor. Well, you can sign this anyway. No, not my signature.
That's how Mama raised us too. Stay on your own side of the fence and be good to the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all you had.
Right.
It was like family because the town was so small. I mean, everybody pitched in for everybody else,
Right.
always. So
And we're still pitching in.
we
the
pitch in
fire
where we
department.
can. We pitch in where we can.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a different kind of pitching in now than it used to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's much more formal.
It's much more financial.
Yes. That too. That too.
When you don't have the money, she's on Social Security disability, and I get Medicare, and I get 111. But my husband retired too soon from the Air Force.
And he didn't have widow's benefits,
Oh.
so
He retired in 64, was it?
it was 63.
63.
It was 63.
Yeah, when we came out here, I was looking for the church because I had been in it during the war. I came out to visit my aunt, and I took my mother with me, but we didn't stay long. We stayed a month, I think it was. We came out on the train, and I was looking for the church. And I said, what happened to the church? Let's go back to the post office. Now, I know the way from the post office, but I didn't think
That was when it was in the little
Street.
building. The little post office.
Yeah.
But the church, from when she had been here with her mother, had burnt down since we came with the family.
Yeah.
So she couldn't get her direction because she knew by landmark, which most of us did, by landmark where things were.
Exactly.
So the neighbor had, Rails had the key to the house. So my dear husband said, we're not staying here, we're going back to Riverside.
So we had to go to Riverside to get a room so we could stay overnight. Because that was the closest accommodations.
And then we came the next day in the daylight.
Started cleaning up and cutting down, and
Here you
Cleaning
are.
out.
And 44 years later, here you are.
Yeah. Well, at least I didn't have to sell
Yeah.
the lots.
Yeah.
It would be complicated anyway, because that other house is on this lot, and the garage is on a different lot.
and
And
my
her
mother's
house-
on another lot also.
Yeah, that is complicated. Anything else, ladies, that you can remember?
Well,
I'm pretty much out of questions
We
now.
used to get water from the windmill.
Uh-huh.
That lasted a while.
Yeah, that was quite a while. The well house had a big tank on top of it, and there was a wire with a brick that would hang outside, and it would raise or lower, depending. And the windmill, the windmill shaft went right into the ground out here. And when the wind blew, we got plenty of water. We never had a problem. And then city changed. You know, things change. Things change.
That's progress.
As Mama would say, that's progress. Because we've always been on septic. I mean, you didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And Daddy had an oversized septic tank made for us.
Because of the
Right.
Rice family.
Some Mexican.
Oh, what's your language on beans,
We don't have paperwork on it, though.
We don't need it, Mom. It's a little late.
I don't think it matters anymore.
No, we're waiting for the water to come by. The sewers,
Sewers.
and we got to get rid of the septic tank. And I don't want to invest in the leach line unless I have to.
Yeah.
But the odor is terrific when I do the wash, flush the toilet.
Do the history. Let's think about what else was here when we were here. There were so many horses. Used to always go to the riverbed to play.
The boys
Of course, they
still
didn't
do.
have paved. There was only B Street Bridge, so they
Okay.
didn't have paved.
Okay.
So you'd have to be careful when it flooded. But it was just so much fun. So much fun.
I imagine it's such a change being so rural and out by yourself, and then
And plus, such small population of everything. You know, school. I mean, you could put easy 3 grades in one classroom.
Yeah.
You know, it has changed a lot. Yeah.
But the teachers still remember us at Robinson. I went to her wedding. Karen Robinson. She married a fireman. Well, he was a cowboy, but he preaches at the funerals now. And he is a fireman. His name is Robertson, and I went to the funeral. I mean, I've been to so many funerals up at Laurel Cemetery.
That's another thing that's really grown. Yeah, and it used to be real overgrown with it was fenced in, a rickety chain link fence or whatever. But that used to be a place where a lot of people used to go park in high school, or go up and tell ghost stories. A bunch of girlfriends go up and tell ghost stories and try to spook each other out. But there wasn't really a whole lot to do around town. We had at the town hall where the community center sits now used to be a big concrete slab that was kind of fence.
Roller
And
skating.
we used to, somebody would bring music, and we used to roller skate. You know, every week or a couple times a week or whatever. And what else was there to do?
Nothing.
No drive-ins, no movie theaters.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Nothing.
Oh, no. I was just trying to remember what we used to try to do, what was here that we could do for fun.
Mm.
And I can remember the roller skating and sports. Where did we ever? Oh, Elsinore had a theater. Like Elsinore had a theater. Marshall's
We
owned
went
it.
there once,
Mm-hmm.
and it cost $20
For everybody.
with
Outrageous.
popcorn.
With popcorn?
Yeah.
Do you know how much it costs now?
No,
Just the
And we
popcorn's
didn't
$20.
Popcorn is $20 now.
No,
we didn't
yeah,
go
that,
often.
because when I was in high school, I went to high school with the kids whose parents owned that place, and that was the only theater that was nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be the old projector, run the reels type of thing, you know. But what else was around here? Anything? I'm not trying to think. I know I used to break in the old schoolhouse to see what was in there because I was always intrigued, you know.
That used to be down there, but it burned when we were here.
Yeah. It burned
I don't know what year it was.
Yeah, but we weren't here when the grain mill was operating.
No.
Yeah.
We came after that.
We have that.
The machine shop was up and operating, and the Garrisons were running it. Big Garrison was running it.
Yeah.
Because Daddy used to go there and get
He
stuff
worked
fixed
there.
and things. Santa Rosa Plateau is actually new. That used to just be up Tanaha and things. Used to go up to Tanaha Falls skinny dipping.
See, the secrets are coming out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of past. See, this is
Murietta Hot
that's new,
Springs.
fairly new.
Bear Creek,
That's-
that's new.
That's newer than we are. Fountain House wasn't here. It had already.
No, that had already burned.
Yeah.
That was gone in 35.
Fountain House. And there's a picture of him.
One in Marietta.
Yeah.
There's a lot of open fields and
And I don't
eucalyptus
remember
trees
the
and
Episcopal Church.
tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweeds.
Mill grain. The elevator, when they did the old mill, he said to me, "Well, you can see the mill from your house, can't you?" And I said, "Well, I haven't looked for it." The Marietta Hot Springs, though, that was a low blow. When it disintegrated, I wanted to pay my fee, $100 a month. And he said, "No, we don't take outsiders."
Yeah, when they closed it to the public, that was a shame because all that mineral water went to waste.
Yeah.
You know, and that was one of her healers,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other people's too in the area used to use it for that.
Yeah.
But that went down. Went through several owners after the Gunthers. My oldest sister dated Tony, which was the son of the owners of the Hot Springs. But we used to hang out there a lot too. And it was fun, just watching the city people come in and how they think, I mean, stuff we thought was so regular, rural, you know. Oh, look at that, you know. Oh, you want to ride a horse? And we're thinking, man, yeah, let give me your car. You can have the horse, you know.
Yeah.
That it was interesting.
Give you the Cadillac.
Yeah,
You could have the
Cadillac.
horse. Though it wasn't yours.
And when it was up and running, it was nice, the Hot Springs. Very nice.
Exercise pool and the whole thing.
I think what else was around here then.
So why didn't people in Murietta want to be associated with Temecula? What was the rub there?
Well, Temecula got the highfalutin people
Initially.
initially.
That was because I worked in the 70s for, the owners that bought from the Vale family, and master planned that area. I worked in the administrative office.
Mm.
So initially it was all master planned
Okay.
and pre-planned, and it was going to be called Rancho California.
Oh.
Well, Temecula fought it and whatever, but there's always been a competition between Murrieta and Temecula for the old timers.
Mm.
Just because you want to see your own city prosper, you know? And you know, if they were taking away business or, you know, whatever the slight may be.
We used to go to Mervin's to shop and Stater Brothers in the area.
Mhm.
But now we have Kohl's, and they're in competition with Mervin's. I'm willing to bet that because the ads come out at the same time, and so now we go to Kohl's and Stater Brothers in Murietta and Hughes.
Ralph's.
Ralph's,
It's changed
which
many
used
times.
to be Hughes.
Yeah,
It
used to be.
something else.
Yeah. Everything used to be something else.
Yeah.
And Petco,
Mm-hmm.
they have the ad
Mm-hmm.
where they have wild bird seed
Mm-hmm.
on sale. We checked the ad.
Oh, she's just going to come with a bunch of questions, so. But you don't know what to ask, huh? Because you know,
I'm lost.
don't know what all we know.
I know.
I don't know what we know either.
You don't know what you know either?
Yeah, I remember the Pascos lived out on a horse ranch out Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a wealthy family in all of the town folk guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a helicopter. The father would fly in with a helicopter.
Hmm.
And we thought they were the richest people on this earth. Really.
Yeah.
And their boys always had on new blue jeans and things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was one of those, you know, drop your jaw.
Yeah.
Wow, these people really must have money.
Yeah.
But it was nice the old way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the McDevitt's had the sheep farm there, and for 4-H classes, you know, they used to take us and show us how they'd shear the sheep, and you know, make the wool and all those different kind of things. And then Mr. Greer, what's his name? Had the Greer nursery up there, and he was involved with plant propagation for the 4-H.
Oh, okay.
So that was before it turned into Greer properties, big houses. You know.
I know.
But it was just a nursery, and they were friends of ours in school too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it was small town, and you know, friends were few and far.
Yeah.
But you made some real good friendships.
And we don't go to the meetings, the council meetings, because it's dark when they get out. We don't drive in the dark.
I understand that.
Right.
Before it was a city, I guess this was a fire district, is what it was called, the Murrieta Fire District. There was some political name for it, but anyway.
Riverside County, but
Yeah. Was there like a mayor or anything?
the Town Hall
kind of-
Association ran the town.
Okay, yeah.
The Town Hall Association was the forefathers that got together and kind of organized the town.
Okay.
You know, you'd go to the Town Hall Association with your questions or you know, whatever, and they would try to help or do or fundraise or, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was kind of wondering if...
Yeah,
I
that was
know
our city
Yeah.
hall, was the Town Hall.
Okay, yeah, because if it wasn't a formal city, but still there had to be someone who kind of oversaw problems and you could go to. So
that was because you'd have the town hall meeting. Everybody went to town hall meeting.
Okay.
You know, everybody in town would go to town hall meeting
Okay.
to discuss or find out or whatever. And that was kind of our city hall
Okay.
that wasn't.
All right, so if there had to be a decision made about whether to build a school or put in something...
Town hall.
Town hall.
Everybody would the whole community would be involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'd all meet together with the town hall.
Right. Okay.
You know, to make decisions and figure out finances and everything. Yeah.
It's really a much more democratic system.
Personally, I think so.
Yes. Well, there really is a difference between that which is a true democratic system and
Right.
what most places have, which is a representative system.
Right.
You know.
Because that was the part that we lost when we became a city.
Exactly.
You know, they couldn't hear us, you know, and then there got to be so many people, it was like, don't bother yelling, they couldn't hear you before, they ain't gonna hear you now, you know. So, but yeah, that's what we used to do with that.
And police was county?
It was Riverside County Sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah, Riverside County Sheriff.
Riverside County Fire.
Right. Well, we had our volunteer fire department.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So we were
You were okay
good to
there.
go that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody volunteered for everything in those days.
Mhm.
You know, everybody helped out everybody.
All the trees that we planted out here, we got at the auction for $2.
Oh, they used to have that too. Town Hall Association used to have an auction every year to try to raise funds
Yeah.
for whatever the city's, you know, our little town's decisions were for things.
Right.
So everybody would donate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Mr. Greer would donate plants and trees and things, and that's what my mom always liked, because she likes lots of trees.
Mm-hmm.
From Connecticut, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was just everything was not labeled a fundraiser.
Right.
Because it was fun, and the monies were going right back in your own pocket, be it for your kids' school books or, you know, to repave the skating rink or something, you know, like that. But it was nice. It was fun. Used to be fun.
Well, it's just, I just can't imagine how you feel looking around you now.
No.
I
The
think
Dagnans built that house 10 years ago.
Probably at least
12,
10.
at least 10. They own Giovanni's restaurant.
He's the grandson of Marion Rail,
Oh,
is the deal. And so he owns her house also, and then that property.
okay.
So,
She only had 2 grandsons. By the time I get finished, I have 15 grandsons now. Grandchildren.
Thank you.
And June just lost her job with Barrett and Company. And she was here a few minutes ago. And she has a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old. So that's the picture up there.
So the point was that you have 17 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild so far. She said she had told all us kids, she said, I don't want to be in the obits until I can have a great-grandchild in there, at least 1. So, we got it. Getting ready. She has very strict rules on how things should go, don't you know?
Yes, I know. It's that military background.
That was even before we were a city. Her joke used to be, well, kids, if me or Pa dies, just throw us in the wheelbarrow and go get us across the way. You know, just wheelbarrow us over to the funeral home.
And Stivers had it.
See? There's the advantage to living right next door.
It was Weiss that remember. What else can we remember way back when?
So when people had jobs, obviously they worked elsewhere. You worked out towards Temecula.
A lot of people worked at the Marietta Hot Springs.
Oh, okay.
And then Rancho California provided jobs, like when they got going. There was jobs available. Well, they weren't like I worked at Temecula Creek, but Rancho California Golf Resort. You know, and there was jobs available, but not professional level.
Right.
But nobody really needed that professional. I mean, the administrative building, you know, like just went up the ranks. But that was, you know, it wasn't needed, and what was needed was found
Okay.
If you wanted a job, you could find one.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But what about industrial jobs or factory jobs?
Well,
That
when
was
Rancho
more-
California got their master plan together,
Uh-huh.
that's when they started putting the industrial in over on the right-hand side.
Okay.
On the west side of the freeway, that was where the industrial and commercial is supposed to be.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying that everyone could find a job
Yeah,
here,
right.
but it wasn't difficult to
Mhm.
find a job local,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Okay. I was wondering if you'd have to go out to Riverside.
A lot
To do that.
of, the thing was, if people lived here, then they usually had a job nearby. Not many commuted. I mean, most people in the old days lived where they worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't have to have some, I want to be in the country, so I'll drive, you know,
Oh, okay.
stand on the
today.
freeway every day.
Like today.
Yeah, like it is
Like
today.
I live in
you know,
Murietta
the
and I drive
fantasy
to
life
Orange County to
and
work.
the stress is going to kill me before I'm 30. Yeah. But we never had problems getting jobs. Any of us.
Kathy and June and you and Rita Marie worked at the drive-in that they had, the hot place. They had a
Oh,
restaurant.
the little sandwich shop in Temecula
Yeah.
on the corner. Or the one in the Rancho California Plaza.
Yeah,
That one too.
she worked.
I mean, there was always,
Yeah.
you know,
Something.
I got into office work, you know, there was one dentist, Bob Beck, he got all of our family's work.
Right.
If I made him rich before he even knew what it was. But, you know, there was the little plaza there in Rancho California there, Rancho California Plaza, and that had several shops. I mean, there was a little bit everywhere that you could, you know, if you wanted to do something, you could. But for anything highfalutin, you know, CEOs and things,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you'd have to, I mean, and they did live elsewhere. Those were the people that came into the hot springs
Right.
and oohed and awed over all the property
Right.
that now live here.
Came in and transformed this rural area to a metropolis.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Mhm.
What about medical care? Doctors?
March Air Force Base.
March, okay.
Yeah, we went there.
There
till
was
they
a doctor
closed.
local in Temecula, Booker, that Papa saw a couple times,
Mhm.
but that was a little later on. Initially, March Air Force Base, or Riverside, was closest medical you could find. I mean, there wasn't urgent cares and things like that back then. And
Right.
a lot of times you just stitched up your own.
Fix it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. That's all I can think of.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
You take that book and read it.
I will, and I'll bring it back when I come back at the end of March. When I'm coming down to do more interviews, I'll call you so I can drop it by.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you think of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, during that period and everything,
Mhm.
some question, because I'm kind of stuck here.
Yeah, no, that's
Trying
fine.
to think of
That's
back
fine.
then.
Yeah, because
And
most
what
of my
was.
my questions we covered. We talked about the schools. We talked about religion. We talked about the political system that was here, the early people, the leaders, the organizations, and the groups. We talked about there being ranches and things and horses.
Horses.
So, you know, so
That was a lot of labor too.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of jobs for people with horse ranches.
yeah.
You know.
So pretty much my list was pretty much covered.
Okay.
What we talked about.
Well, I would love to just fill you in on more.
All right. Well, let me just stop this.
Yeah.
Thank you.